Okay, welcome back. Thought I would just do a follow-up video, work in progress on this figure. Was a Buzz Lightyear figure. Now it's just a ear figure. um, this was a decal on here, and I think there was a decal here. The rest of it had a patch on here. It was just painted on. There was a few little bits here, I think. A few little bits here. Scratched all that off. Got a little bit impatient, so I was going to take it apart and spray it, but I got as far as just removing this part here, which was in there, and the Buzz head was, as you can see, sunk into that hole, and there was a little peg on the bottom of this which rotated. This part rotated. I've glued it in place now and fixed this post on here so it will accept the Action Man head. But yeah, that was basically sat down flush in there. To get this out wasn't too much effort. I turned this upside down, put it in a container of boiling hot water for about 5 minutes, and that softened it up a bit so I could basically wedge it out using a screwdriver. So yeah, basically it goes in that way. It did have a tab here and a tab here which I broke off, and there was a tab here and a tab here I also broke off. Don't really need those, you just need the two, the front and back. It will sort of come apart slightly, as you can see. That orange plug down there, I don't know how easy that is to see. Let's turn the brightness up on this, might help. You can see there's like an orange stopper in there, and that just keeps the two parts together. I reckon I could heat this up, if I really wanted to, with hairdryer, with boiling hot water. Just submerge the whole thing in a basin of hot water, leave it for 5 minutes, and I reckon I could just get a screwdriver and wedge those two bits apart quite easily. Likewise with the body, this part come apart quite easy, the other parts quite solid. Don't know if you can see in there, it's got like these, there's no screws, but there's kind of like a, if you see right there, there's like a post going into a socket, so you've got that on both sides. So that's basically how it's held together, heat welded at the crutch there. And it would be easier to paint this thing by just taking the whole thing apart, but I'm lazy and I'm impatient. Well, I wouldn't say I was lazy, I was more impatient, because this is probably more work doing it this way, and it's more, it is just more work. You just got to try and get everything covered, especially the hinges. It's just hard work. So with this one, I painted over the hinge, which is the worst thing you can do because it just never dries, never adheres, especially with this cheap acrylic paint. So I just used basic permanent marker in there, and I will go over that with paint to match up with the belt, the shoulder pads. I use some weathering powders, mud effect here, just on the white plastic bits, just to take some of the plasticky look off them. I want them to look like painted metal, so I've added some little touches of metal marker here, and then just on edges where it would have got some wear on the back here. And you know, if it looks too blobby, you can always scratch it off and make it how you think it should look. But yeah, it's just a piece of shit, really. I added some silver to the buckles here. Going to paint those brown. Going to touch up around here with some dark grey paint. Again, with the elbow joints, got to redo those. But yeah, let me put it back together and just show you how it's looking with the Action Man head and this cobbled together neck post system. I say this is all solid, it's not going to move, but the head will rotate on that peg. So that's basically what I want. So I'll be back in a second. So there you can see it's all back together. Yeah, I'm pretty happy how it's looking so far. It looks a bit slapdash and a bit work in progress, because that's what it is. I might go back and totally change the colour scheme, or I might buy another one and do it completely differently. I'll just go with this for now and see how it goes. So this is just basic acrylic paint, just a few coats, sort of beige colour. I'm just going for that sort of alien look, the Kane spacesuit look, sort of neutral tones. Obviously the red hair don't go with that, but yeah, that's the sort of impression I get with this outfit. It looks good, really poseable, as I said before. Okay, it looks a bit off when you twist the waist, but for just normal posing, walking poses, obviously it's a bit annoying. You've got to keep taking the helmet off if you want to pose the head. Change the position of the head, but that's no big deal. There you go. That's it. That's how it's looking so far. Once I've, done all the grey bits, I might seal this with some, do the straps brown. I might seal this with some matte varnish. I couldn't think. I was thinking gloss varnish. No, that will give you the more toyish sort of shiny look. So I just want to leave it matte, just to give this a chance to set, because it is quite easy to scratch off. You can see, so that matte varnish will give it a little bit more of a added protection, and then I'll weather it all up, so any little marks like this you ain't going to see. And I think I'll be quite happy with that. I might go over these with silver and maybe some white gloss paint. I'm not too sure about this sort of plasticky look. I do like it, but it looks a bit too toyish still, especially around the boot area. It just looks too clean, but it might look a lot better with some watered down acrylic paint. So yeah, I'll come back with an update when it's sort of a bit more progressed, and show you how it looks. But yeah, really enjoying this one. I just done the head last night. That didn't take long. I say I was going to get some spray paints and take it apart completely, but just too impatient. I just want to crack on with it and see how it how it looks, and if it looks, I think it'll be okay. Sometimes you just got to, you know, push on even when your instincts are saying no, that's going to look bad, that's not going to, especially with these, you know, I shouldn't have painted the joints, but I think the black marker in there and then the washes of paint on top will be fine as long as it matches paint colour wise to that. Likewise with the belt, I'm just going to match up the paint and fill in around here. The areas in there I'm not too bothered about really. I just want to, it's going to be sitting on a shelf. I mean, I could spray paint in there and I could go to town, but yeah, it is what it is for now. And yeah, cheap little fun project. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Bye bye.